it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a.
Welcome everybody. Hey. This is Waifu Views, your soon-to-be favorite female-led podcast with a side of waifu. Thanks for joining us this evening. You already know I'm Ebony Moonbeam. I go by Ebony_Moonbeam, and I'm also with the beautiful ladies. Oh, somebody's muted.
There we go. Nisha Morgan. Hello. You know I always love chatting it up with you ladies.
Yes, and I am Honey Char, a char of honey, like a jar of honey, only sweeter.
Love
I
that.
always love it.
So everybody's doing well today?
Absolutely.
Good. Okay, so we have a really interesting show for you guys. We have a review. We also are going to do a little fun different universe matchup type of thing. And stay tuned for the end of the show because we're going to give you some updates for BlurredCon, as well as give you all our personal information so you can stay tuned with us and see what we got going on. So and also before we get into the nitty gritty, you already know how it goes. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Blurred Cartel on all social media platforms at Blurred Official on YouTube and blurred.com, where you can see all the podcasts done by the Blurred Cartel, different articles. There's new merch out there. You better go in and get it because it's selling fast. And yeah, let's get into it. So we chose a Netflix anime this week. It is called OOKU, The Inner Chambers. It is a Netflix show based on an ongoing manga by Fumi Yoshinaga. The show is 10 episodes and 27 minutes long, aside from the 1 hour first episode. Just giving you guys a heads up. This is a major trigger warning because there's a lot. That's the best way to put it. This is immature. If you have kids, make them go into the other room because this is not for the faint of heart at all. So the show is the world OOKU, The Inner Chambers, is modeled on an alternate version of the Edo period in Japan. The plot follows the basis of social management and power, which has shifted from men to women as a result of the rapid decline of the male population caused by a mysterious plague. This leads to a matriarchal society in which the OOKU becomes a harem of men serving the now female shogun. And before we even get into all the bits and pieces of this, I really want to know where everybody's head was at after watching this. Did we like it? Did we not like it? Why?
I want to see where it's going to go. I do.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. Because after that first episode, I was like, yo, this is wild.
Right.
And saying that is an understatement.
Definitely.
So I do want to see where it goes. Was it a lot to take in? Absolutely. But I love seeing the reversal.
Yeah.
Watching men cater to women, or not just women, the shogun. Oh, I was just like, okay, you got. But then I'm gonna hide my dirty little secret by murdering you. Now?
It was a lot. What about you, Char?
I did not hate it, but I think I have a love-hate relationship with it. There was stuff I liked about it, and there was stuff I don't like. I'm like 50-50.
50-50.
What was it for you that kind of tore you or put you in the middle? Really,
there's a lot. Okay,
let's get into it. That's what the show's about.
So you want to know? So okay, I'll say my cons then. So my cons of it were, it was a lot to take in. I did enjoy that first prologue or whatever, that first episode where it kind of showed you why the rest of the episodes took place. It was a lot to take in. It definitely needed a trigger warning for me. I should have read it more to know that stuff was coming up, because not only was it it was the way that they talked about it the younger boys, just
Ugh.
it was a little much for me. But but what really kind of, I think, made me think about it was that even though a reflection of the Edo period and switching genders, and it played on gender roles and queerness and like just the roles of like men and women, it still was like the women were still not in full power to me. They still had to answer to the men. And that's why I was like, it's not fully a gender switch because the men still have some kind of leeway.
So maybe more so in the power scale of it, it was a power, like a
The
gender
power
switch.
dynamic.
But the poor, yeah, I see what you mean.
It still was, the men were
Even aside from the poor, within the shogunate, you still very much see, like when I watched it, I was like super excited. I was like, yeah, feminism. And then I watched how things transpired, and I'm gonna be honest, I felt so bad for some of these men. I was like, dang, that's crazy. But the thing that I guess just like for you rubbed me like a weird is like, though the women had the power, because at that time the male population had dropped to about a third of the population or something like that, and in the beginning. And I was just like, well, damn, like we still gotta have babies, we still gotta do this and that, we still have to pretend that we're men and all of those things. So you really didn't get the full glory of like the gender swap. And as I was watching this, I really was like, what would one of the things that I didn't like about it was that I felt like the transition was way more chiller than I expected it to be. When you're thinking about this is feudal Japan and stuff, and I can just think in 2023 where women are already doing male jobs and being head of their own households and stuff like that. Even if we woke up and half of the male population was gone, it would still be chaos giving some of that power over to women, because men just would not let that happen. You know, and there's a lot of women out there that would be like, no, we've seen that. We saw that when Hillary Clinton was running for president. Some people were just straight up like, we don't need a woman president. And it's like, I can understand if you don't want her as the president, but why can't we have a woman president? And it was always, oh, we're so emotional and this and that. So that is in turn the thing that I did like about it, was that none of them ever really seemed to let their emotions keep them from doing their job. They always did what they needed to do, which us in society, women in society, we show that on a regular basis. Our man leaves us with kids. Guess what? We still do what we got to do. We're low on funds. We figure out what we got to do to feed our kids and feed our family and make sure that we're good. So I could definitely see the back and forth on where you could like things and not like things. So I don't totally see that.
It's not a traditional gender swap type of situation, especially because the men dropped to, I think at its lowest was a quarter of what women are. So you put up a fuss, you're outnumbered regardless.
5 women or was it 5 women or 10 women? It was 1 man at the like closer to the end when the plague was really bad. That's how intense it was.
It was awful. So we didn't really see like a traditional swap. It was more so, to an extent, their world without men.
Well, but it was still, so it wasn't a full, so the reimagining wasn't a full transition, because up until the women, it was still men leading. So you still have that kind of, I don't want to say like misogyny, but that's still ideal of the men being the epitome of something. Right. Transitioning it to women, like they did not, like you said, get the full glory of being in power, of being like elite. It was just kind of, they're elite now, they still have lots of.
And it wasn't until really the point where they felt like society as a whole was going to go completely extinct if we didn't say, okay, like now we need a female shogun and this and that. And then even when you get into the nitty gritty of it, it was still always supposed to be a temporary position. At the end, when she announces it and everything, she says this is a temporary position. If all of Japan ends and goes extinct, I'm going with it. All of that, and so it was still like we couldn't shake the brainwashing in a way.
But her coming out inspired everybody else to be like, okay, well, we can stop putting up this front. And then women were going in place instead of men.
Right.
Because I think that was a bonus. Not necessarily like, woo, we have a victory, but it was a bonus.
Yeah. Because you never want a victory by diminishing someone else. So it's like when men became, the prostitutes and stuff, like you're kind of like, now you know how it feels. But then after that, you're just like, damn, that's really messed up though. So, but let's get into the first episode. So the first episode is like a prequel leading into what we're going to get throughout the show. And it shows how the plague starts. And I really liked how the plague started. It's basically like a kid just goes out on a regular normal day and gets attacked by a bear that appears to have rabies. And then as he's being taken care of, this plague ends up attacking the village. All the males under a certain age, around the age of anyone under the age of 14. And I think you find out and then it's rare that like sometimes 16 and 17 at the highest. And then there was some very, very rare cases to where older men would catch it, but it was very rare.
Yeah.
So it seems like it was all started from this boy, but this boy was attacked by the bear. So is the initiator or patient zero the bear?
Yes. I look at it like it's like the movie Outbreak or something. We've seen it before where there's some type of animal case. Actually, we see it in the Planet of the Apes, like type of deal. But instead, he's sick. And in turn, what happens is however sick he was, it affected the kid in a certain way. And then it continued to spread. And they don't really touch on how it is spread. They don't say, is it airborne? If it's, bodily fluids, they don't really go deep into that. I think you just kind of assume that it's airborne because at a certain point, they basically just start keeping their men inside the house and pamper them and treat them like pretty little princesses, which rubbed me the wrong way because, feminism and all. And it just rubbed me the wrong way. Like, seriously, like, okay. But yeah, it would just attack in waves and it just continued to move around. But I like shows that don't overcomplicate. Like the start, they really after they told us that, they almost instantly got into the nitty gritty of the plague and the shogun and all of that stuff and how society was instantly changing. They didn't spend too much time. They probably spent all of 5 minutes on like this happy moment and then boom, the plague. And I like that stuff like that, like the plague is so realistic because we've experienced that in real life since the dawn of time. So for me, I don't have to convince myself that this could actually happen.
Sure.
So that's something that I really liked about it. So when we get into the second episode, did y'all think that was done well? Do you feel like they should have gave us more information? Do you think that they should have showed us like what the world looked like prior to? Do you think it was necessary for the story, or like just the handful of flashbacks that we get is enough?
Maybe the flashbacks, because then we'd be more focused on them instead of where they've ended up now.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave us enough as like a brief like comparison, or you can see how each side lived. But we don't need to focus on how the past is. We're in the present.
Okay. So with that, we have a lot of different characters. After that first episode, they really delve into the present time, what is considered the present time, which is, I believe, the 7th or 8th shogunate. And so this is a woman and she's coming in, and it wasn't by bloodline or anything. It was more of like a come to power I don't even remember if it was like a vote or something, but
They
something
brought her
along
from
the
another
lines of like,
area.
right, and they brought her in. And so when we first really get to see the story, now we're seeing all these like beautiful men, and they are basically willing to sell themselves for money to women in the village that cannot procreate and stuff like that. But then also we have men openly offering themselves up to the OOKU, which none of them really know the full, like they know now the full story on what's going on and what they're choosing to go into, but I don't think any of them realize that they would never be able to leave, like all of these different things. So we have some of these male characters, and let's just say that the male characters are freaking gorgeous. Like I told y'all I like traditional Japanese animation and stuff. So we have a couple of different people. A couple of names that you'd want to know is Mizuno, which is a concubine by choice. He is the first character that we see going into the series, the current one. This is a character, actually, this is Mizuno. That's when he grows his hair out. Uh-oh. Stop, Siri.
Can we just say he looks better with his hair grown out?
Sorry, my Siri was talking to me. But so then we also have Arikoto, which is a Buddhist turned concubine, and that's him right there, looking beautiful as ever. Gyoke, which is Arikoto's servant, also a Buddhist turned servant and then concubine. Imetsu Tokigawa is the shogun. She is the shogun. She is the very first female shogunate. And you also have her grandmother, Kasuga. And then you have Sutezo, which is a doppelganger, which that's going to be fun to talk about. And then this poor girl named Sato. And honestly, I'm still trying to fully grasp her position in the show, because she's just kind of like a farm girl. She steps up and she's like, we can do the man's jobs and stuff like that. But I don't want to get into what goes on with that character, but it definitely still felt like women lost in that aspect when it came to her character in particular. What did y'all think about the animation and these characters? Their individual things, how they looked? Because I thought they were fine, but that's just me.
Wait, so I'm trying to remember. Was it Arikoto or was it Mizuno who was getting jumped?
That was Mizuno. Mm-hmm. Wait, which time? The one where he pulled out the sword?
Yep.
Or the other time? Okay, that was Mizuno.
Yeah. Can we equate OOKU to prison to some extent? Because I feel like they go, they never get to leave, they have chores, and then for the trigger warning, like, if you don't have access to other stuff, what are you going to do? I feel like to some degree, it's a prison that nobody knows is a prison until they actually get in and you can't get out. So.
Yeah.
I liked that the story gave serious attention to issues of gender as well as sexuality. I appreciated I feel like we should have seen as much sexual assault as we did. I don't think it was necessary to give us that much of it. But I did appreciate that they focus not just on SA on women, but also on men, because it doesn't get talked about enough in media. And the only reason I didn't completely hate the fact that we saw so much of it is because I think when SA gets discussed, it always gets talked about like it is a rare occurrence and like only a handful of people have experienced it and so sad for them and yada, yada, yada. But in my personal experience and my experience speaking with others, it happens way more often than you think. It happens to your best friend, your siblings, your mom, everything. And it's not, and gender and sexuality has nothing to do with it. So I know Char's having some issues with her mic, so
But
What are you about to say?
oh, that first jumping scene.
I don't know. Honestly, that one sucked, but he was able to do what he had to do or whatever. For me, the worst one was the scene with Gyoke or Koto's servant.
No, and he was just
And he was just defending his the person that he looks up to. So when we move past the first couple of episodes, which is the present time, they're going to switch and shift and go into the past and discuss the current the very first shogunate, which is cool because then you get to kind of find out how the transition was, how she became a woman. And that's where a small little love story comes into play. But this is by no means a love story as a whole. If anything, the handful of moments that they have of passion are beautiful, and then everything else is just really freaking sad. So Arakoto is, like I said, a Buddhist turned concubine. He is basically seen by this woman, Kasuga. And just to give you a background of her, she's the shogun's grandmother. The shogun in the past, the very first shogun, is actually an illegitimate child of the previous shogun, the male shogun, which is Kasuga's son. And he was a brat, and he was known to be a little undercover, if you know what I mean. And he had some very nasty tendencies about him. And after he loses his life, then in order to keep the Tokugawa name intact, they bring her in and basically dress her up like a man, cut off her hair, which if you're a woman, you know that unless we personally choose to take to cut off our hair, and usually we're going through something, honestly, like either we're being reborn or we're stressed out, because our hair has always been considered like our pride ever since as long as I can think of. And this character, right, since beforehand. And so this character spots him out and basically convinces him to come to the capital, and they kidnap him and his attendants and say that you're going to be her concubine, and if you don't, we're going to do all of these horrible things, some of which they did. And finally he gives in and he agrees to be the concubine, and his servant chooses to stay with him. And that's when we see the poor servant attacked.
Can you hear
How
me
did
now?
that make? Yes, I can hear you now.
You guys are still kind of staticky for me, but so and I just wanted to ask, in that regard, with how they did the monk, do you think it's reflective of how we see a lot of other things play out with women who are taken to be married off or to used as like a concubine for other people? I feel like his story was reflective of that in like a gender
Right.
where he was
I agree.
concubine, and then he fell in love with her, which we see a lot of in like other stories and movies where they fall in love with the person that
Trauma bonded.
yeah, exactly, like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, but I think that should have rubbed me the wrong way, but we see that happen pretty often. But I do like that there's a moment, because I was like, he just gonna take this, like he getting cussed out by her and slapped and all types of stuff, because she was really a horrible person to begin with, and she softened up a little bit, but there was definitely some qualities that weren't likable even down to the end. And I like that he got with her one day and was like, you think you're the only person that's suffering? And he says, I was taken against my will to please you, to serve you. So what do you mean? But I also think that it was something that needed to be said and needed to be shown. And I think it's something that he needed to experience, because I really don't think that if that happened in today's society, the men could even stomach it, let alone do half of the things that they were required to do in the show.
Definitely. Yeah, I agree.
How did you feel about them bouncing back and forth through the timeline?
So there was one episode I did have to go back and rewatch because I got thrown off for a second, but I kind of appreciated it because it allowed you to keep having something to reflect back on, seeing how it came to be. And like even with the Shogun and how her father relationship happened, how he never had a kid until he, essayed the woman, and then that's when, we need to go get her because she's now the only heir. So it was nice to have something to like keep reflecting back on and seeing why she is the way she is, how the story kind of came about.
Right. I liked that how they played it to where we're in present time and then we went back. And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to build up to continue the story for another season, but I still didn't fully like it because we ended with the first shogun's daughter. So we end up with the second shogunate, but right now, currently in the present time, we're at like the 7th or 8th. So I know that they're going to go back and they're probably going to give us a little bit more insight on what's gone on over the years. But I really liked the shogun that we were first introduced to. And so I really wanted to see what she was going to do next. She was so interesting to me. She was probably one of my favorite characters for someone that didn't have a whole lot of screen time compared to all the other characters, because I felt like there was so much depth to her. She could be stern, but she could be sassy and kinky. She could still show her feminine side, but she was still going to do what she had to do. She had so many different nuances,
Yeah. She was my favorite too. And especially even, I like how what they're supposed to do to the first bed maiden or whatever. Change.
The secret swallow is what they call them.
Yeah.
They're such assholes.
I like
Swain. Yeah. Even worse.
He reversed that and he got to live his nice life. So she was my favorite too. I liked her like depth and just her dynamic with everything and coming in new and all that. She was kind of dope to me.
Did you have a favorite, Aisha? I think you're muted.
I was, but I hadn't gotten that thought together yet.
Putting you on the spot.
You really are. I would have to say, female-wise, she was great, but I feel like we got more out of the current Shogun than we did her. So female Shoguns were great for me as far as favorites. Now, as far as the males, I'd have to say Arikoto. Because he was held against his will. He pushed to try and make everything as it should be. And even though his heart was broken, he still got the job done.
I was not as much of a fan as the show continued with him, because I felt like, well, we see him on multiple occasions just kind of throw his morals out the window, which, I get it. He was in a really crazy situation, so he had to do what he had to do, but he never really had to fall in love with her. And I also felt like he held on to that for too long instead of kind of accepting what was what. Like he had the opportunity. They were glad that they were in love. He couldn't produce an heir. And then they pulled in, oh yeah, let's talk about the doppelganger, Sutezo, which is this crazy ass grandmother that we keep talking about, goes out into the streets again and finds a man that looks exactly like the man that the shogun is in love with, that cannot give her a child, takes him in, and he's all free-spirited and go like, he's a doofus. Like, can we just
absolutely
can we just put that out there? He is so ridiculous. And he chooses to go in there so his sister can get married, have a proper marriage and stuff. He does it under this very gentlemanly guise, but really he just wants to be a lazy whore and send money back to his family and eat as much rice as he wants to. Like he was lazy. And for him to come in, and then of course he's able to do what? Impregnate her. And I do love that the shogun always stayed in love with Arikoto. I did like that. I appreciated that. So it wasn't like this one-sided affair, but he's
it
given a
kinda
second chance and he
was.
can't give her a baby. So it's like, okay, after that point, you know you can't be with her forever. So you might as well just let it go.
And it don't help if she calls for him.
Mm-mm.
He has to watch the woman he loves that she claims, oh, you're the only one that has my heart. Oh, I'm like, yo, you knocking dudes down like nobody's business.
Every other night.
Like, really? Like, that's why I felt for him. I'm like, she gave him this little slim chance of hope, like, oh, I love her, she loves me. I can't sleep with her. Now I'm just stuck in prison, following her every command. Like, I feel for the dude. I do. She was cool.
Oh, yeah, I feel
for him. Especially because that's not the life he chose.
Correct.
He was forced into that life.
That's true.
And that's what was so foul, that even though she was the shogun and technically she can do whatever she wants, she did not have the power to be able to let him go, to let him leave. You know what I mean? Which we see in the beginning with a different shogun, which I think shows how different the times were and how it evolved through time. So I thought that was cool. I felt the person that I did feel bad for Sutezo at the end. I'll just say that. But how he got injured in the first place was ridiculous. Like, he literally just jumped and got excited and fell over and boom, you're paralyzed. Like, what? How are you paralyzed?
Because I'm too accident prone. I was like,
no, I am too. I've had a whole hip replacement and I'm not that old, but so I get it. But this was just like, I thought it was just supposed to be a funny moment when he got all excited and then like fell down. And then the next scene, it's like, yeah, so he's paralyzed from the waist down and we don't think he's going to be able to lay with her anymore. So we're going to give you another shot. Like, what? And imagine being toyed like that. Like, just think in relationships and stuff where you feel like you're the like you're somebody's second choice. Like they wanted to be with this person, but they didn't want to be with you. So now it's like, it has to feel like that. And what's worse is he had made up his mind when he decided to finally fall in love with her, that his duty wasn't to be a Buddhist and help people, but it was to help her. And so he wanted to give her everything. And the one thing that she needed the most to be considered a woman was a child, and to maintain her shogun status, an heir, and he couldn't give it to her. So
yeah, so I think he got the short end of the stick. So now could you not produce an heir? You were basically kidnapped. Your family was like, okay, as long as you give us money, we're cool with it.
Yeah.
And you gotta know, not even listen to, you gotta know she getting her back blown out by somebody else. But I love you, baby. I will hold on to the hope of us. I love you. But no. That was the only issue I had. I felt for him, I did, but it was just like, how much more are you gonna put this man through?
That's that hurt. I don't like. Ooh.
And then you tell your underling, hey, go tap that.
Okay, see, I got that. That made sense to me. Instead of a bunch of random men going and laying with her, this is someone that I trust. This is someone that really doesn't want to hurt me at all. And if he gives her an heir, then cool, great. I can go back to loving on her again and all this stuff like that. But then at least I know that she's not going through all these people and people are hurting her or taking advantage of her, because she always spoke about how in the beginning it was really hard for her because of the fact that she was SA'd herself when she first gets there. And which is, you know, the whole purpose of the secret Swain tradition anyway, but which I thought was petty. She came across extremely petty. And I get that she was angry, but I felt like she was angry at all the wrong people. Like, why do you have your aide walk around chopping girls' heads off? How does that benefit you at all? Why does that make you feel good? She was very hard to like in the beginning. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, I don't like you. I like the other show. Can we go back to her? And then we got into it, but she was a piece of work.
Yeah, she was.
But to see, how is it visually to see, like for me, I haven't been captivated by a show like this in a while, and I could not stop. Literally watched it all in one sitting, and there were at least once every episode, my mouth was on the floor.
Yes.
At least once. Like it didn't hold back on the surprises and the shock value, and everything seemed like it held a purpose, and that's what I appreciated. It wasn't just like all over the place, and the animation was good. The visuals were
for the most
gorgeous.
part.
Oh my gosh, are you talking about that scene at the end that like goes full-fledged 3D?
That they did that when they were lining up in the hall.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, see, I didn't realize it the first time, but when I saw it at the end on the last episode, when they do it again for the younger daughter, I was like, what the? It's so I rewound it because I was like, did my screen just glitch or did they just completely change the animation for a second?
For that, they changed it.
Yeah, that was trash. I don't know why they did that. It was giving like golden camo-y Kingdom. No, like golden camo-y Kingdom type 3D
it was giving
animation.
Empress College.
Oh, yeah, no, it was though. It wasn't pretty.
It wasn't.
Do you guys think that we're gonna get another season? Because based off of how the story went, I feel like they definitely. If they don't, then what was the point in giving us the current Shogun at all?
If they don't, I don't love it like how I love Dead Man's Wonderland. But I hate being left on a cliffhanger like that.
Right.
I
agree.
Yeah. It depends on how long I want to see how long the manga goes. And maybe there is something more that happens. But
there is more. I think this only covered like the first like 2 volumes or something like that. There is more.
So I wonder if I don't think they probably will anytime soon, honestly, but it'd be nice just because of how they left it.
I could say that from the different posts that I've seen in a couple of the different blurred groups, because it came out, it must have came out this weekend or something, because it seemed like people were talking about it, because I don't know when it came out. But they said that we were going to, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second. Oh yeah, so people that had seen it were saying that they really enjoyed it. And so I can see that more people are probably going to check it out just based on, I didn't see, the only thing that I saw was really similar to the feelings that we had about a lot of the essay. Like it was just a lot for them, or they couldn't make it past a certain episode. But aside from that, they were enjoying the story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's go on and finish up with this one, because I want to try, I think it's time that we try something new. And so if you had to rate it 1 to 5 uwus, how many would you give it?
I'm gonna let Shar go first.
I already said I was 50 on it, but I'm gonna give it like a 3.75.
You always give these crazy ones. You're like my anime list. I swear, it's never like a 3 or 4. It's like 3.75 to 3.8.
It wasn't horrible. I didn't hate it, but it wasn't like, I still needed some things to happen for it to be higher for me. So 3.75 is like right there for me.
Okay.
Let's see average. Okay.
Yeah, out of 5.
I would have to agree, except I wasn't going to say 7.5. I was going to give them a 3.5, so 3.5. I want to see where it goes, but it was a lot going on.
Yeah.
Let me guess, you rated it higher.
I did. I did. You know me. I like dark anime and stuff like that, and darker shows. I like things that touch on real serious topics. I do not typically shy away from stuff that involves essay and stuff like that. I've learned that these things are a part of life, and some of these things we've experienced. So for me, the best way to keep pushing is to not be triggered by it, but to just go head first through it, you know. I thought the animation was great. Aside from us ending where we ended instead of going back to the main storyline with no idea of if we're going to get a second season or not. And y'all already know how Netflix will do you when it comes to shows, let alone anime. That's probably the only negative, that and the insane amount of essays. So I would still probably give it a 4. I'm not going to give it a 5 out of 5, but the way that it kept me engaged, and because it went left real quick, it was like, and the visuals on the plague was like terrifying. Like I was like, anything that involves boils and stuff just really.
What was it? Red face smallpox?
Red face smallpox. Ugh. That, oh Lord. Crazy.
Right.
3.75 oohs. Which if y'all know, ooh. I think I was in the wrong key. Ooh. Yeah, something like that. But y'all know, you know what we're talking about. Y'all already know, because y'all love waifus just like we love waifus. So you know the sound, you know what we're talking about. So check it out if you like. Like I said, it's on Netflix. It's new. It's called OOKU, The Inner Chambers. There's a lot going on. Once again, major trigger warning. So it is not for the faint of heart, but it is definitely a series that if you can stomach it, it is definitely worth checking out. So now that that's done, we are going to play a fun little game. It is where we are going to put 2 characters from different universes that would be besties, just like the photo suggests. However, this is going to be the anime edition. So we're going to put some of the photos up, and whoever it belongs to, we're going to say why they should be besties. So let's get into it.
So this one is mine.
Saitama and Ashley. Cool.
This is mine. I picked them. Now all of mine are like very similar, but these 2 are like pretty much identical for me. And I feel like because they're so alike with their type of personality, they would actually be really good friends. I feel like no one can put up with each other like they would, just because of how similar they are. So that's why I picked them.
I like that. When I first started watching Mashley, I instantly said, okay, so this is Harry Potter meets One Punch Man.
Yeah.
And that's literally what the show is. And they act so much alike. And surprisingly, so I like Saitama, and I'm actually going to go rewatch it again. But Mashley is freaking hilarious. This dude is hilarious. It's so heartwarming. There's something about him, maybe because there's something so innocent about him, like sweet and innocent about him, compared to Saitama that just seems a little bit more aloof and not necessarily like cute and sweet. I think that's why I like his character better personally, but it is hilarious.
I think they'd be good friends.
Oh yeah, they'll just train together.
Yeah.
And literally, if you look at them, they kind of look alike. Besides him having a more structured face right there, they look kind of alike.
I mean, he does kind of look like Saitama when he had hair in the very beginning. He kind of looks like him.
Oh, who's this?
Oh, that would be me.
Oh, the simps of the day.
Yes. I love them both. As much as they simp for women, they always come through in the end. I feel like that is their bonding right there. If there is a damsel in distress, the only thing is they're going to compete to see who gets to her first.
Yeah, I can see that one.
Yeah, I agree. I liked that one. I don't know though. I feel like they're a little different in the fact that Zenitsu, I think that I don't feel like he's as simpy as Sanji. Like Sanji literally goes for anything that moves as long as it doesn't come from that island. Like he searches for everything. Well, I feel like, okay, what we saw maybe like one instance in the, like when we first saw him when Tanjiro first meets them, he's simping. And then the next time he simps for Nezuko.
And the whole time,
and then that's it. But that's his boo now. He's in love. He's in love with Nezuko. Like that. I get simping for your boo. Like that's your one. I could understand if he was like Sanji, where he was still simping for other women, but still talking about Nezuko. But he's not. He's focused.
Okay, so they both have Captain Save-A-Ho syndrome. How about that?
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Definitely that. Okay, I think this is mine. This is Levi and Aki from Chainsaw Man. So I just think they're very similar in their personalities. They're both very cool, calm, and collected. But when they get angry, you can definitely tell, and people instantly kind of fear them. They are both very big into cleaning. You see that in the show when Power and Denji come to live with Aki. It's that was probably one of the funniest scenes of the whole anime was when they first decided to move in together and stuff. And so we already know Levi is Mr. Clean with hair. And I think they both are very skilled. They both use some sort of blade, and I feel like they could just be two besties that like don't claim that they're besties, but they're like, you already know they're cool, you know? So I felt like they would work well together.
I could get on board with that one.
Yeah, I like that one. Let's see what's up next. I'm nervous.
All right. So I picked this.
Okay.
So Shinji from Neon Genesis, and then Deku from My Hero. I went a different route than my first pairing because I feel like they have enough similarities and enough differences to still make it. I kind of thought of this like Boy Meets World, like Sean and Corey. Like they have similarities, but they're still a little different, but they're best friends.
Yeah.
So that's why I picked them. I feel like they both are very caring. Deku has pretty much never met anyone he didn't like care about. Like he always saw the good in people. Shinji, I know people call him a little bit, but I know they say it, but he has his moments, and him not growing up like directly with his mother or father really until like he saw his father later or whatever. Deku kind of gives that his mother super loves him, so he's had that kind of love and absence in him and stuff as a father figure. So I feel like Deku can help Shinji, and they be best friends because of their similarities and their differences.
I like that. That's how I like my friendships. Like when I was doing this, I was doing people that were somewhat similar. But when I was thinking about it on my own, I was like, I really just don't like having friends that are exactly like me. I feel like it doesn't challenge me to be better. It doesn't challenge me to do other things. I don't want a yes man. I don't want someone that like when I'm being erratic that ain't gonna say you're being erratic and you need to sit the hell down somewhere. I don't want someone that's like, white girl, let's go key his car. Like, no, you need to be calming me down. That's what you should be doing. So all of my friends, like we have similarities, but like majority, like my two best friends don't watch anime. They've watched enough to where they can chit chat with me about like Naruto and stuff, but they're not really big into anime. But we have all these other things that work for us, and 30 years later we're still friends. So these are the type of dynamics that I like to see in anime, like that kind of back and forth kind of thing, but you know they're besties even if they don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
So okay, whose is this one?
I think that might be me.
Okay.
Yes. So not just best friends. I feel they would be best frenemies.
Yes.
They don't want to admit it like the other two, but evil mad scientist genius. I feel like they would push each other, and of course, neither one of them wants to claim that they like the other one, but they do. And it's always a competition. I feel like they would be the best frenemies ever.
I think them two together would be the worst the worst possible scenario of any verse that they're in, because they're just both kind of a lot and insane, but they're brilliant.
Mhm.
But putting them together and allowing their minds to work together, both of these characters are not afraid to experiment on you. They're not afraid to
push the envelope. They go
yeah.
in. They commit, and I love it.
They modify their own bodies, like they test on themselves. So yeah, they're definitely a match made in heaven for them, but not for anybody else in the verse. Terrifying. I see them together and I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm just gonna go over here.
I think I'm gonna fangirl and then pass out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because let me tell you, Mayuri without that makeup on is fun.
A pretty man. Jesus.
And I don't give a damn what nobody say. Orochimaru has always been fine. And hey, when you got a tongue like that,
I knew that was coming.
you gotta keep them around, even if you don't want them all the time. You gotta keep them in your back pocket.
I'm here for
Okay,
it.
so let's see what's up next. Since I'm showing my kinks right now. Okay, this is Sakura. This is adult Sakura. Okay, this is mine. So this is adult Sakura, and Chi-Chi from the Dragon Ball series. I chose them because what I have seen of Boruto and what I've read in Boruto, I feel like they're very similar. They're both caring mothers. They both were technically in love with someone that didn't give a damn about them, one way or the other.
Look here.
I feel like they both low-key trapped their partner in some form or fashion.
There we go.
And they intimidate everybody around them because of their strength. Neither one of them are afraid to slap the main character upside the head. And like anybody that can make someone as powerful as Goku or someone as stubborn as Sasuke like chill out, kudos to them. So I feel like they would, and because they both want the best for their kids and they're both educated and they both have the battle prowess and they're used to taming main characters and stuff. I feel like I think that they would get along well. Like I think that would be we're the same type dynamic, whereas like they could be cool with Bulma, for just like how Chi-Chi is cool with Bulma. Like they have similarities but they have differences. I think this would be like the match made in heaven kind of thing. Two crazy bitches. Okay, do we have any more? Because how many have we gone through? I think we have some more.
So this is Dazai from Bungo Stray Dogs, and this is Kyosuke from Unlimited. Now I picked them because of their mysteriousness. I think that they would get along because the way in which they hide their feelings, they always smile even when they got something going on. Like you can never tell what they're thinking. So I think they would have a lot of fun with each other. And they also went through like trouble with their people who were close to them turning their backs on them. So I think that they'll kind of like bond over that. They're mysterious, they got a lot going on, and they're very smart and very like
calculated.
There you go, calculated. I just think they would play off of each other like so fun, and so like they'd get along in like a sarcastic kind of friendship.
Mm-hmm. Dazai is definitely a favorite character of mine. I haven't watched. Did you call it Unlimited or Limited?
On Kyosuke, Unlimited, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out because I like characters like Dazai where they're always a couple steps ahead of them. Actually, this reminds me of like he seems, just by looking at him, he kind of reminds me of Fyodor, which is always going back and forth with Dazai on who can manipulate a situation better and who can do all of that. So that's neat. I'm gonna have to check him out. And he's fine.
You got that Gojo thing going on.
Yeah, like Gojo, but like intense. Like there's something mysterious and dark about him that we don't know. Yeah. It's like what you like to do behind closed doors, because you ain't no saint. He definitely not that.
Yeah, that's him.
Is this mine? Faye Valentine. Okay, yeah, this is mine. Okay, so that's Faye Valentine from Cowboy Bebop and Nami from One Piece. If y'all watched either show, you already know they're the exact same person.
Yeah.
Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They both love money. They're both thieves. They're both beautiful women that are half dressed. So who doesn't like that? They play. I would say that Faye plays a bigger role in her anime, I feel like, to the main character than Nami does to Luffy. But the bond is there. And so I could just see them. They both like to shop. We've seen that in both anime. So I feel like they would just, kiki and talk about their main characters and how they're both ridiculous and they drive them insane. And then they may go rob someone, maybe commit a little fraud, get, still like pull a Cardi B or something. You never know. I don't know. I just feel like that's what they would be on. and they wouldn't even think anything about it. They would just be like, girl, yeah, like, let me see that ring you got from him. Hold on, let me see that watch. Like,
slip it off real quick.
Real quick. Let's go run up this card. And I think there's a scene, if I recall, in Cowboy Bebop where they go to like a casino, like the casino ship or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And they do the exact same thing in one of the One Piece movies, like the Gold movie, One Piece Gold. So yeah, I just felt like they had so many similarities.
I can see that one.
It could work.
Yeah,
as long as they don't steal from each other, they're good.
Yeah, and see, I feel like, we've seen in the movie, like in that same movie for Nami, that she won't steal from her friends, even though she's had friends steal from her. And I think that if her and Faye were close enough, I don't think she would steal from her either, because
we'll call it borrowing.
Borrowing. Now she may do that. Be like, I'll pay you back, girl. Whatever. I don't lend nobody money anymore. Don't nobody pay nobody back these days. Okay, let's see who's up next.
Ooh,
man.
And his bestie is
this was mine too. Well, y'all already know, like sensei to sensei, cool,
lazy but effective,
collective, right? Lazy but effective. That's that. Like, I feel like it's self-explanatory. If you've watched either show, I would say that Aizawa personally is a better sensei than Kakashi. I know. Oh, I'm surprised I'm surprised Shar agreed with me on that one.
I love Aizawa better than Kakashi. I do.
As a sensei or as a character?
As everything. I love.
What?
I just have a lot of Kakashi.
I was about to say, with all that Kakashi back there.
No, listen, a man who sleeps whenever, that is my man right there.
That's mine too.
Man.
That's mine too. I just want to come over and sleep with you.
Oh God. Okay.
Yes. Oh, see, you was ready.
My man.
Yeah, I like him. I feel like he does an effective job at teaching them. I think Kakashi isn't bad at it. I just don't think that he's like a number one sensei, but the fact that they're both senseis to people, in a way, sensei and teacher, same thing. And just like you said, lazy and effective. But they're both really good at what they do. Like Aizawa is really cool at their stuff. And same with Kakashi, like his Chidori, his copy ninja stuff. They're both good individual characters as well as senseis to their students. So yeah, I think they would get along well. And I feel like they wouldn't bother each other much. Like I could just see Kakashi sitting there like reading his dirty manga and Aizawa's right next to him sleep. In his sleeping bag.
Nah, he peeping that same manga out the corner of his eye. Right. He ain't fooling nobody.
Okay, I think the last duo is about to come up.
Okay.
Orochimaru.
Back, okay.
Damn, this one's mine too? I must have posted I must have sent in a lot. Okay, So that is Joseph from Ancient Magus Bride, and the other one is Orochimaru, and they are also just both sadistic, crazy people, but they're both highly intelligent. If you have ever seen Joseph in action, he has taken limbs and put them together and made like a whole person, like from all these like different body parts and stuff, and that's very much Orochimaru's type of jazz.
Can we make it a couple?
Yeah, it really could. Like them with Mayuri, and then we're good. Like, no, we're bad. We're not good. We're not good at all. Like, run for your life. But they both have this in like. I wish that the only difference between those three characters is I feel like we don't get we get enough info in sorrow and like sad backstory to kind of understand why Joseph is the way that he is compared to Orochimaru and Mayuri. But aside from that, I feel like they'd be like, hey, you want to go create a Frankenstein? Yeah, let's go. And yeah, they would probably also turn on each other. But hey, who doesn't love a good frenemy at the end of the day?
See? That's all I'm saying.
I think it motivates us secretly. I don't think any of us have ever not had someone in our lives that we were like, we're friends, but I know they're secretly competing with me. Or maybe I'm secretly competing with them. I don't know. Something. I don't know. I know I've had that. I've personally had that where I felt like a friend it was always like a competition, but I was just like, it was never that deep for me, but I peeped it and other people would sometimes peep it, but there's still so much love there.
See, exactly.
Well, yeah. And I would say if I would have known back then, yeah, cut it. But, after 30 years and people change and grow, and now those things don't happen anymore. So I think it's just growing pains,
Right.
And having similar personalities with someone being a very dominant personality in a friend group and then having another friend that has the exact same personality can be a lot. So... But that was fun. I felt so much better about that than we did like the blind ranking for the husbandos, because that one stressed me out. When we do the waifus, I am terrified because I'm just worried about the backlash.
It's not even the backlash. It's that last second gamble that I happened to come out of, like on tap with. But imagine if I didn't, and it was just like, yo.
Yeah, I was disappointed with my list. So disappointed. I was so upset. I was like, damn. But now we're at the point, because we're finishing up, but we have some interesting news for you guys in regards to BlurredCon. All the groups that are under the blurred.com umbrella are doing a couple of different things. And the first thing at BlurredCon on Friday from 9 to 10:20 is going to be the What It Sound Like karaoke jam. They're going to feature all the music from the 99 and the 2000s. So go out there and do your thing, belt it out. Karaoke is for the non-singers.
Me.
So don't be showing people up, Jennifer Hudson. No, I'm just kidding. You can come out and do your thing, show out. It's going to be in the Jefferson Room. And yeah, I think I wish I was there so I could
participate in the festivities.
Show y'all the pipes.
Have somebody stand in front of you with the fan, have the whole effect. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be really fun. I hope that they do something like that at DreamCon when I'm there. And on Saturday, Beichan After Dark is having a live 18 plus panel that will have conversations about sex positivity and pro geek and also some kink. So, show up and make your opinions be heard. That will be at 10:30 to 11:20 p.m. And that is also in the Jefferson room. And if you have any questions about where things are going to be, I know that they're going to be giving updates on where they are and what they have going on leading up and up to BlurredCon, as well as the week of at the event. So just keep a lookout for anything that has Blurred on it, blurred.com, Blurred Cartel, Blurred Official, Blurred Approved Entertainment, all of that stuff. You're going to see some of your favorites at those panels, and I know it's just going to be great. Also coming soon, we'll also be giving you some updates for DreamCon later in the month, so be sure to keep looking out for that. And of course, we need to give out our socials so people can know what's going on with us. So Aisha, let us know what you got going on and where people can find you.
I mean, outside of hanging out with you lovely ladies every Sunday, this is about it. Oh, yes. Love you guys.
Yo, wait, how did you just do that?
What finger was that?
Which finger is that?
Oh, dang. I can't bend my finger like that.
I can, but I always think I look like a pterodactyl doing it.
Which one are you doing? Okay. I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to just keep doing this like the K-pop
This is my
stars.
favorite, the Korean one.
I love this.
But if you don't find me under Aisha Morgan, you will find me educated_angel.
We love an educated queen. What about you, Char? Where can they find you? What you got going on?
I'm a Char of Honey. You can find me at a Char of Honey on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, Twitter, and all that jazz. Honey and Coco's taking a break because it's con season. We will be back in August. And yeah, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch. I'll get my computer fixed because doing these podcasts on this tablet is irking my nerves very much so. I'm going to be better after this. But yeah, I'm trying to do a cosplay every other day until DreamCon. So hopefully
every other day until DreamCon?
Yes.
Ooh, don't power to you.
Do not hold me to that.
No, we're gonna hold you to it. You done put it on. It's recorded.
That's the goal. That is the goal.
No, we're gonna hold you to it. I want to see that. That's gonna be great.
So every other day we're gonna be like, "What's up next?
Yeah,
what's coming next?
What's next? Where's that?" She's gonna end up blocking us until
Girl.
the show.
I will.
She's gonna be like, "Y'all gonna leave me alone." No, you gotta have friends that hold you accountable, man. That's how we keep making it work.
And she says she will from the other side of the block button.
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
Okay, so I'm Ebony Moonbeam. You can find me at Ebony_Moonbeam on all social media platforms. You know, TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. I have some personal pages, but my main page that I'm focusing on right now are the cosplay pages that you can find under Ebony_Moonbeam or Ebony_Moonbeam cosplay. I was just at a con last weekend, so I finally posted one day of photos on my Instagram, so you can check those out. And I am dropping videos every day this week from that cosplay, and I also have another one that will be coming out as well from that con. And yeah, you can find me on the Blurred Cartel's The Round Table on Wednesday. Shout out to them. That's always fun. It is Coke Match Wednesday, if I recall. So it is going to be insanity. So please be there and support us. Hop in the comments. Put your votes in. Also,
please tell me you're Coke Match Mondays. Oh,
I'm not going to be at BlurredCon, but I will be at DreamCon. So I don't know. I may match your energy, and I'm not doing a cosplay every other day or whatever. But maybe I'll try and do one cosplay a week until DreamCon. I know
only three. That's only 3.
Yeah. So what you mean only?
That's no. I'm 3, so you got that.
So yeah. So maybe I'll do that, and y'all can hold me accountable too. But
so is it
yeah. Also, you know, check out all the other shows that we have. You know, they have What It Sound Like. what it sound like. There's the 3-episode review that comes out on YouTube and all of that good jazz. Please follow all of us, and we hope that you enjoyed the show. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe at the Blurred Cartel on all social media platforms. That's TikTok, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, YouTube. Also, the Blurred Official at YouTube and blurred.com, where you can get the schedule and find everything else that the Blurred umbrella has to offer. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you again next Sunday at 8 p.m. Have a good one.